A very good afternoon to one and all. Today we are going to discuss our first DS lab program. First, let us understand the problem statement. The problem statement of your first program is design, develop and implement a menu driven program in C for the following array operations. First operation is creating an array of n integer elements. Second possible operation is display of array elements with suitable headings. Third possible operation is inserting an element at a given valid position. The given position may be either at the beginning of array or in the middle of the array or at the end of the array. And next possible array operation is deleting an element at a given valid position. Again, deletion of an element at the beginning or in the middle or at the end of the array. So, prior to discuss the implementation of this problem, let us revise few concepts which we have already studied in our classroom. First, let us understand what is array. An array is a collection of items stored at contiguous memory locations. An array elements can be accessed randomly using indices of an array. They are used to store similar type of elements, as in the data type must be the same for all the elements. An array can be used to store collection of primitive data types such as int, float, double, character, etc. of any particular type. With this basic idea, we came to know that in an array we can store only similar data types, and when we are making storage of elements in an array, the memory allocation for an array is contiguous manner, and also we can access array elements randomly with the help of index value. So now let us understand the importance of these array operations and how we can frame our logic. And for that, let us take one example where we can trace our elements. For example, our first operation says that we need to create an array with n number of elements. So let us assume that to create an array, the first and foremost we required is size of the array, and then we need those many elements to be entered by the end user. Once the user enter all the elements, we need to simply store them in an array. How we can do that? With the help of printf and scanf function, we can read the size of the array. Then we will use for loop to read elements continuously, and then we are going to store array elements once again with the help of scanf. And here the pictorial diagram which I have shown indicates that the size of the array is 5 and user entered elements as 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Again, second possible operation is display of array elements. That can be done with the help of for loop and printf function. A for loop is used to traverse array elements one by one, and with the help of printf function, each time we are going to print an element of array. Here I have shown the display items, and array items are, if you observe, these are output of this operation 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. These are the elements which we have stored at the time of creation of an array. A next possible operation is again insertion. As I have stated, whenever we want to insert an element into an array, we require position where we would like to insert. Assume that in this example, I want to insert element at the end of the array. It is simple because we are not going to alter the existing elements in an array. Hence, directly in the sixth location, we can store a new element. And as we know that in an array, always index values starts with 0 and ends with n minus 1. Suppose assume that after insertion of 60 at the end of the array, as I have stated, simply I need to say array of n equal to element, because that particular index, nth index, is not having any element. Hence, I can easily store my new element into the nth element. Suppose assume that you would like to insert your new element, which I have shown here, that is 5, at the beginning of your array. At this point of time, I cannot directly say that array of position equal to element, because before inserting 5 in the 0th index, in an existing array, already in 0th position, I have value 10. If I say directly array of position equal to element, and now my latest element is 5, this 5 can be stored in 0th position, but if we do so, it will overwrite the value of 10 by 5. Hence, I cannot perform array of 0 equal to your element. So, what is the solution for performing this? To do so, let us see here. When my array content is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and if I want to insert 5 at the beginning, first I need to move content of array or each element of array one position ahead. If I move the value of 50 from index value 4 to 5, and then 40 from third index to fourth index, 30 from second index to third index, and 20 from first index to second index, and 10 from first 0th index to first index. By moving each element of array one position ahead will make my 0th position empty. After performing these operations, then I can say that array of position equal to my new element. And this logic is applicable both for inserting element at the beginning as well as at the middle. Whereas in case of deletion, again we are making use of same logic. The only difference between insertion and deletion operation is, in case of insertion, we are moving elements one position ahead, whereas In case of deletion, we are taking the position of elements backside. Suppose if you see here in this example, I would like to delete the fourth element. As per this example, fourth element is 30. If I want to delete 30, then I will overwrite the fourth index value to the third index value. By doing so, 40 is copied at index 3, then 30 is overwritten by 40. Similarly, I will copy 50 to the fourth index instead of 40. Now after overwriting, the new value stored at index 4 is 50. After that, simply I will reduce the value of n by 1, because now size of the array is decreased from 6 to 5. So this is how we can implement all array operations. Now with this basic understanding, we can easily create logic to implement all these operations. Let us move back to our first lab program. So as we have studied, first I need array. To store the array elements, I am defining array of 10, and name of the array is A, and maximum elements this array can hold is 10. I am making use of following variables in my program, and I will explain the importance of each variable wherever I will make use of these variables. N, element, I, position. And again, before understanding these functions, let us first we will see main program. Because as per our problem statement, we need to clearly display the menu to a end user. By going through menu, user will decide which operation he wants to perform on an array. So to do that, I am making use of printf, and I am saying if you wish to perform create operation, press 1. If you wish to perform insertion either at the beginning or in the middle, press 2. If you wish to insert element at the end of the array, then press 3. If user wish to perform delete operation, he need to press 4. 5 for displaying array of elements. 6 to exit from the program. Again, we know that we are going to implement a user defined function to perform all these operations, and user cannot perform all these operations once at a time. So hence we need to read, or we need to take his choice or her choice. To do that, I have declared variable ch, and I am storing the value entered by user in ch. For that, first I need to ask user to enter his choice. Once he enter his choice, I will be storing that in variable ch. With the help of switch function, based on user input, I can make my logic to execute only a respective user defined function. With the help of switch, I have created different cases, like case if user press 1, then call user defined function create, and after execution of that break it. Similarly for case 2, insert beginning middle and then break. Case 3, insert end, break. Case 4, delete operation, then break. Case 5, display function, break. Case 6, return 0, nothing we need to perform. If user enter the value other than 1 to 6, then we need to display error message, and for that in default section I am printing enter valid choice, and again menu will be displayed. From that user needs to enter his input. This program will execute until and unless user enter the values in between 1 to 5. As soon as the user enter the value 6, the program will be terminated. So now assume that initially user press 1 and it called create function. And also if you see the implementation of this program, in this program we are defining our user defined functions before our main function. Hence, even if we have not include our function prototype, that is okay. Hence, directly I am implementing user defined functions. Void create, because create function is not going to return anything, so hence return type of create function is void. As I have already discussed, when we want to create the array, first we need to understand size of the array. For that, with the help of printf function, I am asking my end user to enter the size of the array elements. Whatever size he or she wishes to, they will enter, and I will be holding that value in the variable n with the help of scanf function. After that, I am asking end user to enter the array elements, and with the help of for loop, if you observe, I am using variable I, and here in this function, this I variable is used as an initial or index value, which I am going to use for array. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. As soon as user enter his or her first number, that will be stored in an array at the position 0. Because if you observe your scanf function, I am saying %d ampersand array of I, and initially the value of I is 0, hence at the index 0th we will be storing our first entered element. After that the value of I will be incremented and second element will be stored in array of 1. This process will continue until and unless user enter n elements. And as we know that array index starts from 0, and for size n, the or nth element will be stored in n minus 1th index. So assume that end user entered the value of n as f5 and number of elements entered are 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Now your array is having 5 elements which are stored from 0th index to 4th index. And 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th index are empty. because in our program we are making use of static array, and as soon as we declare int array of 10, your compiler will allocate 10 blocks of memory, and each block is taking 4 bytes of memory. If we assume we are running this program on 64-bit operating system. And next function is display. Here we need to display the array elements. For that again I am taking integer I. If n means the value of n is greater than 0, then it enters loop. Printf array elements are /n. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. With the help of printf function, I am printing each element of the array, and I am accessing array elements with the help of index value I. Initially the index value is 0, hence it will print the first element from the array, and as the value of I is incrementing in successive loop, it is going to increase, or it is going to print second, third, fourth, and till n minus 1 position. Whatever elements are stored in an array, it will print all of them. And to go to my cursor position to a next line, simply I am adding outside for loop printf /n. As we know, /n is nothing but a new line character. It will take our cursor position to the next line. Now insert at the end. Again we are going to insert a new element in an array, and the return type of function is void because we are not going to return anything. For that I need to ask end user to enter the element which he or she would like to insert to a array, and whatever element user entered, that value is stored in a variable element. As I have stated, suppose if you are having n elements, your nth element will be stored in n minus 1th index of array, because your array element starts with 0. So hence here directly I am saying array of n equal to element, because here assume that we are having 5 elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Then 10 will be stored in 0th index and 50 will be stored in the 4th index, whereas the value of n is 5. When I say array of n, that is nothing but array of 5. I am storing my new element in the index of 5th. That is nothing but the number of elements present should be 6. Hence, after initializing my new element to the array of n, I am incrementing the value of n by 1. Great. Now, let us understand how we can implement insert underscore beginning underscore middle function. This function is called when user wish to insert his or her new element either at the beginning or in the middle of an array. As I have already stated, in this scenario I cannot directly say the way I have said in case of insert your new element at the end of the array. Because when you are inserting your new element at the end of the array, you are not going to touch your existing elements. But unfortunately, when you would like to insert your array element either at the beginning or in the middle, you need not to again touch your existing elements. But if I follow the same logic of assigning element to the position, then there is a possibility of overriding the earlier element which is stored at that particular position. Hence, I have shown in tracing to perform this operation, first we need to move all the array elements one position ahead. And by doing this, we will find the position location as a empty, and after doing all or after moving all array elements one position ahead, we can then store our new element to the index where your position is pointing at. To do that, first let us ask end user to enter the position where he or she would like to insert their new element and read that value inside position variable. Suppose position is less than or equal to 0, that is not a valid value because your position value should start from 1 to n. Hence, I am printing error message saying that position value should be above 0. Suppose if assume that user entered valid position, then if condition will fail and it will jump to else condition. Once he entered the position where he or she would like to insert their new element, then we need to ask them to enter the element to be inserted. The whatever element they have entered value, that value will be stored in an element variable with the help of scanf function. Now here logic is, first I need to move array elements from the position point to the n one position ahead. To do so, what I am doing is, if you clearly observe here, I am initializing the index value equal to n1 minus 1, and prior to this I have initialized the value of n to n1. I am performing this until and unless the value of I is greater than or equal to position minus 1. And in this case, as I am performing these operation from end to the position, that is nothing but from rightmost to the leftmost, I need to decrement the value of index by 1 in each iteration. So after that, if you understand the logic here, I am saying array of n1 equal to array of n1 minus 1. What it means? Let us assume that the value of n1 is equal to 5. Then I am saying array of 5 equal to array of 5 minus 1, that is nothing but array of 4. So indirectly I am assigning the value stored at index 4th to index 5. That is nothing but I am moving my index location, the array element one position ahead. And after that I am performing n1 minus minus. So this procedure will continue until and unless it reaches to position value. By doing this logic, now even the value which is placed at the index position earlier is moved one position ahead. Now the value entered by user for position and that particular index is empty. So directly we can store that our new element into that particular position. Hence I am saying array of position minus 1 equal to element. By doing this, we have inserted one element to the existing array. And hence we need to increment size of the array by 1, and for that I am saying n plus plus. Same logic but bit opposite to your insertion method. That is nothing but when we perform deletion operation, we need to move backward our elements one position back to their current position. So for delete function, again read position from the user. For that I am saying enter position of the element to be deleted, and whatever position value they will enter, I am storing that in position variable with the help of scanf. Suppose the value entered for position is greater than the number of elements present in an array, it is not possible to delete. That particular condition is checking with the help of if position is greater than n, then I am saying array have only these many elements, hence enter the position value properly. Suppose the entered position is proper, if condition will fail and it will enter to a else part. In else part, first I need to remove the element which is stored in that particular position. And as we have stated, whenever user enter, he always enter position by considering first element as a 1. But as we know, array index starts with the value 0. Hence, to get position value, here I am saying array of position minus 1, and that value will be stored in element. As I have stated, now to delete an element from that particular position, in an array actually we are not going to delete that element. Instead of that, we will overwrite the value of that particular position from a front value. Hence, if you observe here, I am saying array of I equal to array of I plus 1. Assume that my position is 4, 4 minus 1 is 3, now the value of I is 3. Here I am saying array of I, that is nothing but array of 3 equal to array of I plus 1, that is nothing but array of 4. Means I am overwriting the content of third index by content by fourth index value. So this procedure will continue until and unless it reaches to end of the array. And now after deletion, we need to decrease size of the array. Hence, I am saying n equal to n minus 1. And at the end, I am displaying the element which we have deleted from the given position, because we have already stored that value in a variable element. The deleted element is %d/n element. I hope you got it, and if you have any doubts, you can call me at any point of time. Thank you.